Gang, how are you? I am in the office right now. It's right after lunchtime. And here we are doing another quick pop up live for our fasting community. For those of you who are in the space, who are working on fasting, those who are improving metabolic health, and even if you're not working on fasting, if you're interested in making changes to what you do, changing your mindset, changing your behavior, and kind of walking along with us in our health action plan, the things that we're doing to get our metabolism into the right form, then this is the place for you. I am now 48 hours into this week's fast. If you started on Tuesday into yesterday, right? Put a day one, right? That was the first day, and then yesterday into today, day two, and then of course, for those of you who are starting the fast right now and going into the last day, that would be day three, and then a T for those of you who are doing an extended fast or fasting with us for the entire 72 hours. So right now, once again, I am right at a little over 48 hours into this week's fast as I am working on my personal metabolism. How do I get better? What do I need to do to get my body in the right space? And fasting is one of those fascinating ways. This week, what should I say this week? We've been walking through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and there are 7 components to that. Just this past week on Dwain Woode MD Live, we rolled out the 5th component, and that is rest and restoration. So remember, tier 1 involved walking and fasting. Tier 2 was strength training and balanced bites, the things that we eat. And then tier 3, the first component of that is, of course, our rest and restoration. So that rest is not just about sleep. There are lots of other things that we do. And one of the things that I do actually for rest is having a method that I use to kind of wind down at the end of the day. I have a method that I use to start the day. So starting the day, ending the day, how do I center myself? One of the things, actually, if you've been following us on our strength, strategy, and mindset series, one of the things that I started doing at the end of that of each episode is doing a centering exercise and some breath work, right? So that is part of what helps me now to get centered, to relax, to rest, to get some restoration, because the body, remember, has to. It doesn't. In the fight or flight method, or fight or fight posture, the body doesn't heal. So if we're always constantly in that stressful mode, always constantly in the mode of, hey, I am either fighting or flighting, then the body doesn't do that. We need to get into the parasympathetic, right? That rest, that grow, feed and breathe component, which is the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. That is what we want to be able to get into. And so anytime that we can do that, anything that we can do that sets us up to decrease our cortisol level, to help us relax, to help us step away, come aside for a moment, so that we're able to kind of bring ourselves down. Anything that we do there is beneficial. So that's the rest and the restoration. And then, of course, fasting, with its amazing benefits in terms of improved insulin sensitivity, which I always want to say that one first, right? I always kind of list that as I'm going through in my head. It may not come out always, but as I'm going through in my head, what are the things that we want to do that rights metabolism? The very first thing at the top of my list is usually the insulin, right? So remember our pillars for reversing diabetes: decrease insulin, reduce appetite, and suppress sugar and reduce appetite. So those are the 3 pillars. And at the top of that is the insulin, because insulin is the culprit. Insulin is the place that we can make the biggest impact on our metabolic dysfunction. And we are using the fasting as a way to do that. Because when we fast, our insulin goes down, the amount of sugar in our body begins to go down, the glycogen goes down, we become more insulin sensitive. Our bodies get primed to, particularly as we pair that with some of the other pillars in the health action plan, for instance, strength training. When we do that, then those receptors, the GLUT receptors, are primed to be able to suck the oxygen in, not oxygen, to be able to suck the glucose in without the use of insulin. And that is a big boon, because we've done essentially two things. We've decreased insulin, and we have decreased the amount of sugar, right? So sugar, insulin, and because those are kind of heading in the right direction, then our appetite is not as stimulated. So those cravings that we talk about having, oh, I didn't realize I still had my stethoscope. Those habits that those cravings that we think about having, those cravings actually decrease as well. So the fasting does a lot of different things, and then when we pair that with the rest and restoration, which is what the body needs to be able to rebuild, it kind of is synergistic in the work that we're doing in our metabolism. So remember, fasting, I liken fasting to what happens during, if you buy a house or buy a building and you're renovating, right? You basically come in and you take out some things from the house. That's what fasting does. It resets the process. And then the rest and restoration gives a pause, gives you ability to now begin looking to see, okay, what are the things that we can now do? We can, we tore this wall down, we put up a load-bearing wall or load-bearing structure there. Now let's go and let's make sure that it is optimal. Let's go ahead and paint it. Let's make it look good. Let's actually put some stuff into the house that we've basically torn apart. And that is what that's what rest and restoration does. So it is a combination. An interesting point to be made here as we're talking about these two is that all of the components, all of the pillars of the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, they all touch each other. Sometimes we see these different components or these different structures or these different thoughts or these different processes as though they're individual. Like there's a drawer over here and that stuff goes into the drawer and we close the drawer and we don't look at that again. There's one over here, we put the stuff in, we close the drawer and we don't look at that again. But in actuality, all of these are sitting in the same space. They're sitting in the same drawer, they're touching each other, they're bumping into each other. In order to get to one, we've got to lift one up, right? So all of that, those analogies are true. And when we make a change in one area, then it affects another. And they work together so that we get amplified ability to manage and to reverse our diabetes and improve our metabolism when we use them together. So if you're fasting, as you're doing right now, if you fasted yesterday, you did a 1. If you fasted into today, you did a 2. If you're fasting into tomorrow, you're going to do a 3, and then of course a T for extended and longer fast. As you're fasting, if you want to supercharge your fast, if you want to get better benefits, if you want to get more bang for your buck when it comes to the fast, go ahead and make sure you're getting good rest as well, because that will cause the fasting to be enhanced. Because it is during fasting that our insulin gets better, blood sugar goes down and all that, but it's actually during rest where our muscles rebuild, where our hormones get regulated. All right, that's in the resting phase. And if you're not resting, then your body stays in this heightened state. And so we have difficulty with some of the things that we say that fasting should do for us, and we don't get all the benefits from that. So that's a combination of those two. But just like that, fasting and walking, amazing. Fasting and balanced bites. Fasting and strength training. And of course, fasting and rest. All of them interact with each other. So once again, if you have done a fast with us, you started on the first day ended the fast yesterday. Kudos to you. Proud of you, proud of you, proud of you. The benefits that you're going to see are amazing. If you started the fast yesterday and into today, this is day number 2. I want to give my hats off to you and give you a quick fist bump, right? And say to you that you as well are going to see amazing benefits as you continue doing this. And if you are starting the fast today, going into tomorrow, or you started the fast earlier and you are doing a longer fast with us, so excited to have you in the space with me, because it is amazing to do these things on my own. It's amazing to do them. I'm seeing the benefits in terms of blood sugar, A1C, weight, just overall feelings of well-being. All amazing. But when you do it in community, when you are doing it with other people, when you are having accountability, then it makes it that much more impressive and that much easier to do, and that much more simple to maintain long term. So you are, for me, you are my encouragement, you are my accountability. In this space, we work together, and when we do that, then we get better benefits. So glad that you're here. Glad that you are fasting with me. We will do our check-in tonight at 9 p.m. Central on Dwain Woode MD. So make sure you join us for that. And then, of course, tomorrow, as we conclude our 72 hours fast for this week, we'll be doing our check-in. You get to see what I'm going to eat. And I haven't decided yet. Okay, I've not decided yet. But you know, part of it, a component of it is going to be what? That's right, it's going to be salad, because the salad gives me the bulk, it gives me the fiber. And then I've tried to figure out what the other things are that we're going to add to that. So make sure you join me for that. Well, anyway, make sure you are doing what you need to do, right? So we are walking through this path, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, and we are doing what we need to do, right? So we are moving, we are changing, we are thinking, we are implementing all the different pillars that we need to do to be healthy. And that, after all, is what the limitless living process is. It says that we're going to do everything that we can. We're not allowing anything from outside or anything from inside to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're presenting our best self, our best plans, and our best health. We're breaking through those boundaries. So go live a limitless life, and I will see you as we move through these streets, as we do our check-in tonight, and as we go into the rest of this week. All right, have a great one. This is Dr. Dwain Woode, Woode with an E. The E stands for Endocrinology. I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. I'll see you next time.